As we closed 2022, as we come to the new year, there are still broils within the workers' fraternity, especially in the topmost organ that houses all the trade unions in Uganda, the National Organization of Trade Unions in Uganda. Their leadership fights here, there, we hear, and we want to know what exactly could be the cause, what could be leading to these fights, who is causing them, and the structure picture of this organization and what it could be like. So we shall also get to know why they are fighting and how this could be solved. We have Mr. Wanziusi Matuku Robert. He is the Secretary General of the Infrastructure Workers Union. He is the Secretary General there in that union, but as well he's a member of the National Organization for Trade Unions. So we managed at least to pull him out to get to know. After all, he could give us a neutral kind of picture, being that the names that are mentioned, at least he is not there. Mr. Matuku, welcome once again.
Thank you very much, John.
The last time we talked, you were having some heat of a Secretary General that you wanted out of office as Notu. And we thought that was the cause of the problems, and since you sorted that, we thought Notu was now peaceful. We hear you people are fighting again. There are lots of suspicions all over the country. Some people say there is money coming from government, so each one of you is pushing the other so that it falls in their hands. Some people say you people want leadership. Each one of you wants to at least take a position. What exactly is happening in Notu this time round?
Yeah, thank you very much, Jordan, for once again giving me this opportunity.
You're most welcome.
To speak on the circumstances prevailing in our organization, the National Organization of Trade Unions.
Yes.
We have had a problem in Notu, which has persisted for some time. And this problem in Notu is largely arising from the manner in which Notu is governed.
Okay.
We feel that the trade unions in Uganda are not playing their role in the way they should. And there is a mandate under the law that has been given to Notu. And it's only Notu that is supposed to execute that mandate. Now, when the leadership of Notu fail to execute that mandate, we are all held on standstill. It's like we are not moving.
Yes.
We are not delivering services to the members.
All of you, the trade unions,
all the
under
trade unions
Notu.
Under Notu. We are uncomfortable that we are not giving services to the members as required. And the Notu is required to play a role in ensuring that these services are delivered. Now, we've tried to discuss this problem within the leadership of Notu, but this problem has not adequately been addressed. The leaders have tried over the past to evade, to dodge responsibility. And because of this, we embarked on the process of advocating for the change in leadership.
Okay.
So that we can have a leadership that can pay more attention to the interests of their members. And when some of the leaders took up other political offices, we thought that was an ideal moment for us to advance a change in leadership. And indeed, two of the leaders, that is the Secretary General, and who is now a member of Parliament,
yes,
and the Treasurer General, who has taken up responsibilities in his home district in, I think, Palisa or something.
As a public servant or as a politician?
No, as a politician.
Okay.
I think he's a councillor and also a speaker of the district.
Wow.
So those two resigned. Because first of all, the pressure was too much. And besides, they were not able to be present to execute the work and not as required under the Constitution. So the two resigned. So Mr. Owele remained. But a very big section of the trade unions within Notu felt that Mr. Owere too should really leave office, because whatever it is that the entire leadership did, he could not be exonerated.
Okay.
Because as a chairman general, he has a responsibility that he needed to undertake in supervising the rest of the leaders to function properly. But in circumstances where supervision has not been adequate, then we do not know whether at what stage he will ensure that he does that work. What we disagreed with during the last time when he was being removed from office was the manner in which he was being removed. It was procedurally,
the way it was being
procedurally it was wrong. So some of us objected and said, no, if you remove the chairman general in the manner you are doing, then the same could happen to any other leader.
It would be a precedent.
So we could not set a precedent that removes the chairman general from office in a manner which we thought was unconstitutional.
I want to go to that before we can go any further. You say it was procedurally wrong. What is the procedure of getting a chairman general, and what is the procedure of relieving a chairman general of duties?
The chairman general is
as far as Notu is concerned.
The chairman general, it depends on the circumstances prevailing. In a situation where there is a normal election process going on, it is supposed to be through a delegates conference. But in the circumstances where the chairman general or any other leader fails to perform as is required, the general council has powers under the law to relieve such a person from office, pending the decision that will be taken during the delegates conference. And that is the same provision we used in demanding that the Secretary General and the Treasury General vacate office, which they did.
Procedurally still, according to the Notu Constitution, how long is the term for a chairman general?
The term is 5 years. The
5 years.
5 years. And the chairman general has served, this is now going to 1 more year remaining to make 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you people wait for him to finish a term?
No, but you see, the issue here is that we have a problem. We have a problem within Notu. And we have tried to discuss, we have explored all options, including leaving him in office, and we have found at the stage where we are that it is still not tenable, because 1 year is a very long period of time. You can do a lot of things in a period of 1 year. 1 year is not a short period. There are institutions where someone serves office for only 1 year. And in 1 year you are expected to do a lot, and they do perform. So in our view, we have sat down and had a discussion amongst ourselves and tried to persuade each other as to whether we could allow Mr. Owere to stay in office until the end of the term. But the biggest majority of the members said no. Being a democratic organization, we have nothing to do but to advise him under such a situation. It is in his best interest to honorably be retired.
And leave office.
And leave office.
You said previously, yes, there is a time they wanted to get him out of office. And you said procedurally, they were doing it the wrong way. How were they doing it, and how different is it
first of all,
from how you trying to do it now?
The time when they were removing him from office, they never gave him an opportunity to be heard.
In fact, you said they. Who were those people?
Of course, in that circumstance, communication was supposed to come from the office of the Secretary General to the Chairman General, raising concerns of the members to him in written, stating that there are these allegations against you, and you are required to come on such and such a day to defend yourself or to have something to say. That was never done. Only a meeting was called, and a decision was taken that he be removed, because there were a number of unions that attended. Members said because we are many, therefore let him go. We said no, that cannot work. Then we appealed, we petitioned, and lucky enough, the registrar saw a point in what we were saying and cancelled that removal from office.
Okay.
But the circumstances for his removal, the grounds remained unanswered. And now this time around, the same petitioners have written, this time making sure that he is served on time and is given an opportunity to be heard during the General Council meeting.
What is Owere being accused of?
Incidentally, these are issues which I did not want to discuss here until an appropriate time.
Okay.
Because they are quite vast, and since they are allegations, I do not want to bring it to the attention of the public before he's given an opportunity to do what? To respond by himself. If it so happens that it is necessary to make it known to the public, then the spokesperson will be given an opportunity to explain. But there are serious allegations being raised against him, really very serious. They are not simple allegations. And in my view, I did not want Mr. Were, with all the work that he has done over the years, to be subjected to this process. We have tried to discuss with him as a friend, to try and advise him to see maybe a resignation could work. But for him, I think he feels he needs to fight on. But fighting on when the members have said, no, we do not want, I mean, what are you going to do?
I listened to somebody on one of our brother sister on a radio station sometime, and there were voices of claims that this is witch hunt. The man has just 1 year to finish a term, and there are allegations against him, just like any leader. Why wouldn't colleagues give him just this 1 year so that he goes honorably? You hold an election just like the Constitution normally stipulates. Some people think it's witch hunt against the man in the names of Owere, Asha Wilson.
No, but in these circumstances, when we are holding a public office, we should not always look at issues that we are supposed to do from the perspective that people are doing you a favor to stay in office. No, we don't occupy office because people love us. We occupy office because people expect us to give them a service. It is wrong for Mr. Were or anybody to make an argument that they should assist me, give me 1 year. No, this issue, there is nothing like assisting. You either deliver a service or you don't and vacate office.
But I thought completing a term is an entitlement.
It is an entitlement only on grounds that you function in accordance with the Constitution. The day you cease functioning according to the Constitution, that right ceases. You cannot enjoy that right anymore. You can't say because I've finished, I'm entitled to 5 years. Therefore, whether I go home and I sleep, I have my 5 years. No. You will stay in office for 5 years on condition that you deliver to the expectations of the people. And if the people are not comfortable that you are delivering, you cannot insist. You can't insist that I must be there. No.
Looking at the structural arrangement of Notu, one may say there are gaps, especially with your constitution.
Yes.
Do you have term limits? Do you have kind of strings around one holding an office?
No, we do not have term limits, but we have had a mechanism of changing leadership with ease. Every time we feel that it's necessary to change leaders, we change. In fact, Owere and his team are the people who have stayed in the office longest, 15 years. But normally to serve as the Secretary General, Chairman General, the highest people have gone is 2 terms. But normally it is 1 term. 1 term, after that you change. After 1 term you change. But in the case of Owere and Secretary General, Treasurer General, during this term of office, they have stretched for 15 years. Those are 3 terms. Under normal circumstances, one would say, I think I have done my work. Because you see, leading trade unions is not easy. Trade unions are among the most complicated people actually to be able to manage.
Why?
For Were to have successfully managed to preside over for 15 years is really a ground sufficient for him to say, no, I have worked.
In fact, I also see a great man in Owere and his team. Why are you people coming up now after the man has taken a rest of the whole 15 years?
The issue is not just about, you see, sometimes you can, our politics, there are so many things informing politics.
Why did you wait for now?
Incidentally, this is an opportune moment that has come for us to galvanize a common position that indicates that these leaders must all leave office at this moment in time so that we can rebrand the organization. Trade unions are dead. Jordan, even as you speak about these issues, I would want you to understand the condition in which trade unions are.
Tell us.
The condition is trade unions are not delivering services to the workers as is required. So even when we say, let someone remain in office, we should be able to understand what program is going on that is helping the trade unions to function effectively. It is completely nothing.
That workers would miss if this person is away.
It is completely nothing. Forget about this noise that is sometimes made on TV, what. Go down the ground and you see what happens to the workers in the factories. And you really not want to, you will not want to leave leaders to remain functioning the way they are functioning. We need a leader who is going to inspire and stir up every other leader in the trade union movement to function properly, so that we can be able to render service to the workers.
How do you connect Notu to the grassroots work of trade unions? You are a leader in a trade union.
Yeah.
How has, let's say, the weaknesses within the leadership in Notu affect your activities, your ability to serve the people under yours?
There are things my union as an institution can never do. Those are things which are a preserve of Notu, because Notu is a bridge between the government and the workers. Notu is a bridge between the international community and the workers.
Okay.
Now immediately you fail to function properly as a bridge, then there is no way we are going to be able to deliver services properly here. Like, for example, if we wanted to sponsor an amendment of a bill, or work out a mechanism of engaging with members of parliament to ensure that something is cohesively being done to create an impact by way of influencing other members of parliament to appreciate a change, an introduction of a law, you cannot go and do it as an individual union. It's not possible. You are not going to, as an individual union, mobilize all the members of parliament. No, it is Notu which has the mandate to bring all the unions together.
Yes.
It is Notu which has the mandate to engage the MPs. It's Notu which has the mandate to engage government on a matter of national importance. Like, for example, you see public servants are complaining and crying. Now, as infrastructure union, which is even largely in the private sector, what do? You get the point?
Yes.
So Notu must be at the forefront, and it must occupy its space
of championing whatever the workers want.
Not act opportunistically.
But still, I would think it's you, the leaders at the trade union level, that would come up with ideas, then push Notu to champion these ideas.
But you can be able to push a person who is ready to be pushed. But a person who is not ready to be pushed, you are not going to push them. And by the way, why do you want to be pushed? Why don't you just know that this is my work? Automatically, I should be the one. I understand. The law is very clear. Let me call all these unions and we consult each other. Why do you want a union to complain before you give a service? We don't want leaders who are going to wait for us to complain before they render service. We want leaders who will just be able to see there's a problem here, what do? Let's take this path. And you then call the members together, and then we come and agree on what to do. How can we have employers here, DC employers, making life complicated, and we are just seated, we cannot do anything? How?
That is because of weak leadership at Notu
at the national level. And when you try to engage on one, they now come to the center. The same people whom we are trying to pursue now come to the center. Instead of the center joining, the center now works with the employer against the trade union. Now, I can see you are dragging me to start discussing the grounds why, but I'm not going to go that direction.
There are beliefs that the reason we hear you now disagreeing over leadership, it's because there is money that is coming from government to Notu and things like that. Let us first clear that. What is the truth about the money speculation that is going to be poured within Notu? No. So that's why you're pushing each other.
By the way, we don't receive money from government. I think it is only during COVID season. We saw in the books, I think, where the Prime Minister's office gave some financial support to help us in the fight against COVID. We don't normally get money from government. We finance ourselves, or maybe from the donor community, the donors who sympathize with our cause, give some money. But we are not budgeted for that. We get funding from government.
You're not a government agency.
We are not a government department. And in any case, even if there was any money coming from government, the mechanism of providing accountability for such money is normally there. I don't think there is anything to do with money. It's just service delivery. Unions are angry. The leaders in the trade unions are very angry, by the way.
Okay.
For the reason that they are not getting a service. They are not getting a service. And they are seeing a giant of an institution there, sitting on opportunities that could be exploited to help the trade unions. That is where, that's where
the challenge is.
That's where the challenge is.
As we go for a break, what are the roles of Notu in black and white?
Notu, under the law, is supposed to coordinate all the trade unions to ensure that they function properly in accordance to the law in the delivery of their core functions as defined by the Labour Unions Act.
Yes.
It is also a bridge between the government and the international community. Notu functions as a labor consultant on all matters concerning workers in the country. The functions of Notu are so diverse. You see, it is supposed to provide workers education, to ensure that workers understand their rights, to ensure that workers understand issues to do with the law, workers understand what it is that they must be able to do to enjoy their rights within their workplaces. And to the best of our knowledge, the functionality of Notu is really so inadequate.
Really?
In comparison
in as far as serving those roles is concerned?
Maybe it's operating at about 10% or something like that.
What could be the explanation for that?
Leadership.
Just that?
It's as simple as that. Get a dynamic leadership, focused leadership, a visionary leadership into office, and you will see Notu actively function. Of course, people will say we lack funding, but funding to do what? You must first of all, but you must understand the functions, because you see, I want to explain to you that we do not have programs of our own that we are implementing as Notu. We are busy implementing other people's programs. You are finding leaders traveling. Oh, I was in San Francisco. Oh, I was in Geneva, in Switzerland. The only thing we are seeing are pictures. Pictures of leaders oscillating and trotting around the world, but translating what they have learned there to help a common person down in Karamoja. My dear friend, it is not there. It is not there, Jordan. Let us not deceive ourselves. Workers are not getting a service.
How often do you sit as leaders in Notu? I wonder why all these questions have not been asked to the leaders to give answers.
Jordan, we have done a lot of things, incidentally leading to where we are now. And we are not going to move backward. Personally, I would not move backward. Anybody who thinks this is a witch hunt is a joker. We must be able to redeem our organization to function and deliver services to the workers. We have done our best over the past. We have demanded for convening of organ meetings such as the executive board, such as the general council, such as a delegates conference, annual delegates conference. We are supposed to hold annual delegates conference every year. We must have. But from the time of election in 2018, this is 2022. We are going to have the term of office is ending in 2023. There has never been even a single delegates conference. So at what stage do you want the trade unions to participate in decision making? From the time we finished a meeting from the time the Oweres came into office in 2018 to today, I think we have had only 2 general council meetings. But even then, extraordinary, like emergency. But not general council meetings designed to discuss an agenda as provided by the Constitution.
Politics has affected Notu. That is also a belief.
Notu
has produced so many MPs, especially workers MPs. Political parties are beneficiaries of support from Notu.
Yeah.
and assistance to garner support from different parts of the country. Do you see it remaining with the backbone that can really serve the cause of the workers, yet it has another conflicting loyalty to serve politics?
You see, politics has indeed affected Notu. I want to agree with you. And we have documented that in a report that we conducted following an investigation we did about 1 year ago. We pointed out that members of parliament have, for representing workers, have had a very negative effect on Notu. Because Notu itself has failed to control. Because you see, power was given to us. We sought for representation in parliament.
Yes.
But we ourselves as Notu, who sought for representation, we were given power. We failed to control power. We allowed members of parliament to function just at their wish, at their own discretion. We must be able to sit as an organ and say, yes, you are representing us. And we, organized labor, we are the ones who are electing you. You will conduct your business in relation with the trade unions in the following manner. We put in place a regulation.
You see, people serve Notu with different agendas.
Yeah.
I want to be, actually, there is belief that people are using Notu as a stepping stone.
They are using Notu because of a weak leadership. If we have a strong leadership, nobody will use Notu.
Will a strong leadership stop Matuku from wanting to be an MP?
You can be an MP, but you will conduct business in a manner that does not have a negative effect on Notu. That one you will do. If you don't, we will have to mobilize against you. Because you see, members of parliament, as far as really small entities in Notu, they should not present themselves like as if they are above Notu. No, they are very tiny entities within the operation of Notu. And therefore, even when they are seeking for power by engaging the affiliates of Notu, they should not work in a manner that injures Notu. Because tomorrow, these members of parliament can go out, by the way. They can even remove them from parliament. But you can't remove Notu.
How does the Minister for Labour and the ministry end up being mentioned in your disagreements as Notu? And in your, I don't want to use the word fights, but let me call them disagreements as Notu. We hear the minister has written, the minister has ordered, the minister has directed. How does the minister come? Yes, we know he's the Minister for Labour, but you said yourself, Notu is not an agency of government. How does the minister come into, how much powers does she have to say, I don't want Matuku here, I want Kamukama there?
No, you see, in a well-developed society,
yes,
actually, whether well-developed or not, whatever work we do, even as trade unions, is a primary responsibility of government.
True.
Government has got a responsibility to protect its citizens. Government has got a responsibility to ensure that its citizens get employment and they derive fruits from their labor.
Yes.
So for us, even when we come in as representatives of workers, the function we are trying to undertake is primarily given to government. So we cannot claim to love the workers more than the government. Although we are aware that the government has failed in many instances to protect its own people. But the responsibility remains there. They have a duty to protect its people.
Which you as leaders of workers
now for us,
they have not played
because
to the
by the very nature, everywhere in the world, by the way, it's not only here in Uganda, governments sometimes, in many cases, fail to protect its people because there is a very strong inherent conflict between capital and labor. The capitalists do everything that is practically possible to make as much profit as they need to expand their empires. But in the process of desiring to make these profits,
someone is being exploited.
Somebody is being exploited.
Yes.
Because like I explained the other time, capitalism is founded on the exploitation of the poor. The capitalism flourishes on exploitation of the poor. They take advantage of the vulnerable, the weak, the disadvantaged, to make profit. This is a belief we have. Now, under such circumstances, and the capitalism has become so powerful that sometimes it even captures the state. State machineries can actually serve at the whims of capitalism.
Knowingly or unknowingly?
Even knowingly, because no capitalism pays taxes. These businesses pay taxes. I've explained that these businesses pay taxes.
Yes.
And these taxes help sustain the government. Now, because they pay taxes, they have a lot of influence on government. So sometimes
they can arm twist government.
Yes,
the way
they do.
Want.
Yes, they do. Because like now you tell someone that you respect labor rights, they sometimes tell you, okay, if you coerce me, I can leave this country and go and invest somewhere else. Now government will not want to lose a tax base.
Yes.
Or to have it reduced, because sometimes they behave as if they are not what?
So they will pretend about whatever is happening.
And sometimes we meet these politicians in government and they say, my brothers, we are aware, but let us be patient. You see? But the right is supposed to be enjoyed now. It's not for tomorrow. You get the point? So now, the problem we have here is that the government has a duty. Even your family, Jordan,
yes,
should you have a problem with your child and maybe you act in a manner that's of a criminal nature, government can arrest you.
No, they will arrest you.
They will arrest you even if it's your child. You get the point? So for them, because they have an overriding responsibility, when two parties are fighting within Notu, and nobody is listening to the other, the government has a duty to say, maybe keep a close eye to see, make sure that those people don't injure each other. Okay? It is under those circumstances that the minister has intervened. The Minister of Labor has intervened. But sometimes they have intervened wrongly. But every time they intervene wrongly, we call them to order and they correct. Actually, in this particular case, all the interventions, even where there was a mistake made, we complain that yes, your intervention is required, but here you have erred. Can you correct? And they go back and correct. So I do not see where the ministry has erred. Maybe I will be educated, but so far now,
because this is something to do with your own leadership.
Yes.
You're only asking somebody to get out of office.
Exactly.
How come the ministry is getting involved?
Yeah, the ministry
with a directive supporting a certain group that wants somebody out.
See, the ministry has got to be involved, because once you change leadership, like now we have removed the Secretary General, we have removed the Treasurer General, they have resigned, okay. They have moved out of office. For a new Secretary General or a Treasurer General to assume office, the registrar must register those names. And the registrar is the registrar of government. So how can you say government should not be involved? And for the registrar to register, they must be very sure that the procedure for removal and installing another leader is followed.
In the right
that is an
line.
Administrative mechanism, and the government definitely must be involved to see, in removing the Secretary General, did you follow your own constitution which was registered? If you didn't, my dear friend, you will not. You will make a noise here, they will not register.
So your explanation still refutes the rumor that the Minister of Labor is also witch hunting my good friend Owere.
But now for what? I don't know whether the minister has had a personal problem with Owere. I don't know. But really, for a minister to witch hunt a man like Owere, I don't know. For what reason? They are not clashing over anything.
But these are both Ugandans.
They are Ugandans. That one has got a high job.
Actually, in the same sector of protection of workers. They could have disagreed somewhere.
No, if there is a disagreement, and that disagreement is connected to a fight that Owere is advancing to promote the workers' rights, that one we shall be together with him. But if it is a fight associated with personal undeclared interests, then really we cannot be made party to that process. But to the best of my knowledge, I do not see why the minister should witch hunt Owere.
But I'm sure you have also heard, it's not my word.
No, I have heard.
Thank you.
I have heard, but it is false. There is no way that minister, the way she has been conducting business, can be said to be witch hunting Owere. For what reason?
But again, Notu disagreed with the minister when she was trying to ask you not to leave the Secretary General in office?
No, but that was wrong. That's why I was telling you that the interventions the ministry makes must be in accordance to the law. You get the point?
So that time
and
she
every
was...
time they make those interventions and we write back, they realize, oh, there is a problem here. They correct. And that was done, was corrected, there is completely no complaint.
So that time she was doing the wrong thing.
No,
right
now.
She
had written a letter, but without, I think she was out of the country.
Okay.
At that time when she communicated, she did not have adequate time to consult with the technical people. But when she returned, they had a meeting with the technocrats and they agreed. The PS wrote a very good letter trying to offer guidance, which we all agreed with, including Mr. Owere, agreed with that letter.
Okay.
Actually, there were two letters written by the PS. The registrar wrote a very good guiding letter, which was agreeable to all of us, including Mr. Owere. So I don't know whether those interventions, but we were together in the meeting. They even called the parties together into meetings, and we all left those meetings happy that the ministry was doing a good job. Including Mr. Owere made comments there publicly, thanking the minister, the honorable minister. And even asking her that, the honorable minister, where I have erred, please forgive me, publicly when all of us were there. Now, how that now amounts to witch hunt, really, I believe that is cheap politics.
We have also had an element of the NSSF being involved in this particular brawl among the Notu fraternity.
No, NSSF is an independent entity. It cannot be involved. We are the ones who are trying to bring NSSF into this struggle.
What transpired?
Our struggle completely has got, NSSF is not involved. NSSF has got very well-informed managers who are supposed to speak for NSSF. And we have not had a single manager from NSSF complaining that, you people, there is a problem here. No.
Which board sat in State House and came up with the idea that where it should go? Was it the board that connects with NSSF? Was it your board as Notu?
No, it is us, not State House. State House has no mandate completely, even in interfering with me. The only institution that has a mandate to engage with us is the Ministry of Labor.
So the sitting was at the ministry?
The one of State House can only be goodwill. But it must be in line with the law. There is nothing like saying now, okay, because I come from State House, therefore I'm directing.
Because
you have a problem.
This is the information I have, that there was a meeting where Owere was actually not invited, and this kind of agreement was generated.
No, you see,
was it at the ministry? Was it at State House?
No, it was.
No, you said it was at the ministry.
This meeting was not at the ministry.
Okay.
You see, we have been having a conflict. Notu has been divided into two. Yeah?
Yes.
And these two parties in conflict reached a point where they said, how do we resolve our problem? Can we be able to talk to each other? And our efforts were originated, and we started talking to one another. We started talking to each other. In the process of discussion, we all came to a conclusion that the two warring parties, these are two warring parties within Notu, came to a conclusion that under the prevailing circumstances, I think for us to be able to have a new beginning, the entire old leadership must vacate office.
Okay.
Because all of the underlying issues which I have refused to tell you, really, you cannot choose a Secretary General and leave out a Treasurer General and leave out a Chairman General. It is not possible. This was a collective responsibility.
Okay.
If the Secretary General has gone, the Treasurer General has gone, the Chairman General cannot say, I was not part. If you were not part and you were the Chairman General, what did you do?
But now, Mr. Matuku, you're not being fair.
Yes.
To me and the person watching you. We already have people that have been asked to leave office, being blamed of some mistakes.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
Not accepting to tell us some of those mistakes is really not fair.
We are going to speak those issues. Incidentally, I'm not a spokesperson of Notu. And I might be crossing, going so deeper to start speaking on matters which
You'll be playing somebody's
preserve of the spokesperson. But one thing I can assure you is that Notu as an organization has been poorly managed. And as a result of this poor management, the unions that are members have risen up to say no, enough is enough. And these complaints have not come once. They have been coming over and over. The only thing we insisted was that let us follow our constitution properly in removing anyone from office.
You're being blamed with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Somebody said, no. You see, there is need to really overhaul that Notu. People from the same village are in charge of Notu. Actually, somebody was saying one of the leaders, after leaving office, he brought a brother and things like that. How true is all this?
Incidentally,
first of all, is it true that you are all from the same village?
Incidentally, there are some, if there is an organization that has survived tribalism, it is Notu.
At least there you're
the trade union movement has really survived tribalism. Because for us, if you don't deliver, even if you come from the same village with me, for example, I come from the same village with Werike, the former Secretary General. Haven't we been clashing? Are we not from the same village? In fact, not just from the same village, but relatives even. Haven't we been clashing? Eh? So the issue of saying because I come from the same village with so and so really does not matter. The most important thing here is that are you delivering a service? And their members don't want to talk about that. They want to make it look as if some individual is being
as if they are personal fights.
No. If you are performing your work very well, where would anyone even get a ground to remove you from office? Because what happened is that the members would still be able to defend you. But if the members themselves have said, no, how can you insist that I must remain in office? Me, I don't want to reach that level. The day the members rise up and say, Robert, get out of office, I must leave. I don't want to be humiliated by being subjected to explanation of, no. I don't want that.
How can we, what do you think about coming up with a constitution that has such breaks, putting in limits in as far as governance and leadership is concerned? Do we expect that?
But you see, putting restrictions is one of the greatest needs of a human being. Any human being, anywhere, every human being wants to be free. The greatest thing any man or woman desires to have is to be free. To be free to do what you, and we have been advocates of freedom of association, freedom of speech. All that we need in Notu is an environment that can allow the various leaders from wherever they are to effectively participate and utilize their intelligence to help the organizations grow.
But is there freedom that is absolute?
It is not absolute. It is supposed to be regulated.
Exactly.
But at least it should exist. You get the point? I do not want to subscribe to an organization that has got a leader who wants to think for me. I would rather not be part of that organization. I don't want any organization that has got a leadership that simply will make a decision and bring for me to rubber stamp. This is the method. This method of work is responsible for the collapse of Notu. This Notu is a powerful organization, but it's an organization that has completely no impact being felt by an ordinary worker down. In fact, if you go and ask a worker, what is Notu? He will wonder whether that is a new brand of Coca-Cola or soda or what is it.
Somebody will think it's a football club.
It's a football club or something. They don't understand what the Notu is. Why? Because the positive impact on their lives is not there to be felt. We are instead spending a lot of energy talking about the simple things, but the issues relating to real economic empowerment, socio-economic empowerment, strategically working to influence the politics of the country, to offer national guidance, we don't have.
What if Mr. Were comes, you said he is going to be given an opportunity to be heard.
Yeah.
What if he comes up with explanations that will convince you?
No, if he comes up with an explanation which ready to, but what explanation?
So are you people ready? Predetermined?
Let me tell you, the decision has been made. Even if he will speak and roll down on the ground, as long as there is no service, you are wasting your time.
How useful is the stage of having him being heard?
That's what the law says.
Is it just so it's just a formality in this case?
In my view, it is a formality. Because let me tell you, it is a formality in a sense that you are dealing with the people whom you have been serving for the last 14 years and who are aggrieved that they have not received the service. Now, how are you going to explain the fact that you have not given them a service? And which service is this that you have given that they are not aware of? Trade unions are really very weak as we speak. No membership, no education, organizing activities are not there. Donors have given funding towards these activities. Money has just been, there is no money.
Donors have given money.
They have given money towards
but there
this
is no money.
The money is not there. And the
what has happened?
The union is remaining worse.
What has happened?
Now ask Mr. Were that question. Ask Mr. Were because the only one remaining. The other two have gone. The Secretary General and the Treasury General have gone.
Could they have
you ask Mr. Were.
But you are part of Notu yourself.
I am part of Notu, but I'm not involved in decision making.
Yeah, but how can you not know anything?
But how can I be? I would be very actively involved if, for example, the organs are called. But the organs are not called.
Did you vote for Owere in 2018?
Incidentally, I did not. Because I did not believe that he was a leader that was capable of leading us. I actually did not vote him. I don't want to tell a lie. Although we have related because when he went through, we had to work with him. But I did not vote him. Even the Secretary General, I never voted because I also contested for Secretary Generalship.
I want clarity on this. Donors have given money, but there is no money. So could there have been corrupt tendencies within Notu?
No, that question, Jordan, you are going and coming back. You are going and coming back.
I want clarity.
I have told you that point is going to be answered. It hinges on the issues that are grounds for Were to explain. Because he has been a chairman general in office.
No, I'm not asking about him as a person. I'm looking at the organization now.
But it might be one of the grounds that will require him to explain. Now, if I go into details to talk about that,
you would be preempting.
You will be preempting what is.
Although you have said the decision has been made.
As far as I'm concerned, because I've talked to all the trade unions, I know.
Recently, the Uganda Medical Workers Medical Association, they impeached their president, and they installed the vice president as president because of what happened and some things. They blamed him of going political somehow. Court ordered that he should keep in office. How are you going to work if we see a precedent like this for Mr. Owere? Because if he has good lawyers...
That is an association. That is an association.
So are trade unions above the law?
For us, no, we are not above the law.
Yes.
But the rules governing the association are different from ours. Our rules are different. And what happened is that Mr. Owere was democratically elected.
Just like the president for the Uganda Medical Association.
But under which circumstances, I don't know. Under which constitution, I don't know. Because that association operates in a different way. Because it is more focused on ethics.
Okay.
For us, we are not so much driven by ethical conduct. So you may find that there were several other reasons they were having to, maybe they erred. But in our case, the Constitution has been studied. And the Constitution requires that Mr. Owere be given an opportunity to be heard if there is anything he has done. Okay? And the Constitution has been followed by giving him an opportunity to be heard in accordance with the Constitution.
Yes.
Now, if Mr. Owere presents an explanation Eventually, what will happen is that if he is suspended, then the matter has got to be forwarded to the disciplinary committee. Then the disciplinary committee will give him a hearing continuously, over and over, to make sure that he explains himself adequately well. Now, if it is satisfactory that he has not committed any offense, they will prepare a report and he will be reinstated.
Okay.
There
are such chances?
The chances exist. Okay. But based on the mindset of the affiliates, who are the final decision makers in an organ, I don't see him surviving. Maybe the disciplinary committee may be the one that might write a report to say now or no. But for him to survive a decision of removal by the General Council, it is very difficult. Right now, as we speak.
When is that going to be?
January 9th. And he has been served with a letter. And he will come.
So by February 2023, we shall be knowing who the Chairman General of Notu will be.
Yeah, that's true. January 10th, you should be able to know who the Chairman General will be. Because if he is removed on 9th, then the returns must be made to the Minister of Labour.
Okay.
But if he himself chooses to leave,
there are beliefs still that the ministry requested for money from NSSF, and it's as if you have a share as Notu from this money, and because you're waiting for it to fall like rainfall, that's the cause for the fights. Owere must be out, and people will share this money.
Yeah, you see, Owere, in my view, is the process of his removal is being done justly. It's being done fairly. And it should never be connected to the activities of the Minister of Labour. If the Minister of Labour has requested for money from NSSF, let me tell you, NSSF might be having now maybe up to 17 trillion.
Yes.
Okay? You might find that maybe even up to 3, 4, 5 trillion is in the hands of government. So it should not be news that the 6 billion has been requested by a government department.
Yes.
And besides, we need this government ministry for this NSSF to function. Let me tell you how. If I were in NSSF, and if I were the ones who are advancing this argument, I would have taken this request by the minister wholeheartedly, in good faith. Because let me tell you, I have, for example, 2 employers who have not remitted NSSF for the last 10 years. And I've written to NSSF asking them to recover the money. If that money is recovered, NSSF will have an additional close to 9 billion shillings from only these 2 employers. 9 billion can come to NSSF from just these 2 employers. Now, the ministry has got a duty to supervise all of us, the trade unions, including NSSF. And they are saying, you people, we want to help you to raise more money. I would say, if we give you 6 billion, are you able to help us collect another 150 billion? If it is not, if it's possible, what is the problem with it? Yeah. And remember, the ministry has a lot of powers under the law to direct any employer, because they even have the power to close a workplace if you disobey.
Yes.
Now, why don't we take advantage of that power so that we can collect money for the workers? Because workers are losing 10% of their money every month from someone scrapless employers who don't want to pay.
You have voices that are demanding, are requesting the president to have this minister out of the ministry.
No. Notu is not part of that circus, let me tell you. Notu is not part of that circus because the minister has not done anything wrong. Let me tell you, all of these people who are accusing the minister for requesting for money from NSSF have themselves requested for money from NSSF.
Really?
Yes. They have written letters requesting for money from NSSF. The only difference is that maybe NSSF has not given them. You get the point?
Yes.
So we should not be able to start pointing fingers. What the minister has done, in my view, is completely, there's nothing wrong with it.
It is the wrong accusation.
Thousands and thousands of applications are being sent to NSSF every other day, requesting for funding to perform a particular activity in the interest of NSSF. But it's up to NSSF management to assess. And they say, this one, no, we can't give. This one, if we give, we shall get this benefit. There's nothing wrong with that. So these people who are playing this useless cheap politics, oh, the minister has requested for 6 billion, that's rubbish.
Thank you so much,
Mr.
Rubbish. Once you see Matuku Robert, he is the Secretary General of the Infrastructure Workers Union and also a member of the National Organization for Trade Unions, and that's the epitome of trade unions in Uganda. It's the body at the top of governance of trade unions in Uganda. We have been discussing issues to do with how they are trying to shake up their leadership system as an organization and how they can rebrand, like he said, to see good services being given to the workers in Uganda. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa with Davis Kamukama here as a team. We thank you so much for watching all our programs 2022. We are coming in again 2023 with more. Please keep there to wait. Thank you so much. Bye-bye and good night.